Hey guys, it's Julia, and today I am going to be showing you books that I have somewhat recently acquired and I am really excited about reading if I ever get the time to read anything. And before we start, I just want to let you know that if you see a little pop of red, it's because I'm wearing a leotard because I am on my break from dance right now, so I come home during this break, that's when my hair's in a ponytail. So yeah, just letting you know that. Okay. So, all these books I have recently acquired. I bought some of them, my mom bought some of them for me, we bought some of them together. I haven't had time to read them yet, so I have a very long list of books that I have that I want to read. Now, this isn't my list of books that I want to read. Not that I don't want to read these. The list of books that I want to read is almost completely different because I don't have those books. Once I get those books, I will read them, or I can make a video on what books I want to read. But just let me know what you guys want. So yeah, so these are all books that are mine, or I share them with my mom because my mom and I both love books. So first I have the Scorpio Races by Maggie Stiefvater. And I got this when I was at the Vancouver International Writers Festival a couple weekends ago, and I had heard a lot about this author and I really wanted to read one of her books. And basically this book is about, I haven't started it yet, so obviously I don't know that much, but it looks like it's about this thing called the Scorpio Races, and basically there are these people and they ride water horses, and it's like basically you can live, you can die during this race. It's very, very, very prestigious. And there's this guy named Sean Kendrick, and he's the returning champion, and he's 19 and he is like totally competitive with this. And then there's this girl named Puck Connolly, and she never meant to ride in the Scorpio Races, but she has to for some reason, I don't know yet. So she enters the competition and she's the first girl to ever do that, and it says she is in no way prepared for what is going to happen. So this looks really exciting to me. I think it looks very interesting. Obviously there's going to be some conflict with her being the only girl ever to enter the race, or her not being experienced, or her being forced into it. And also the Scorpio Races themselves seem very, very interesting. So I'm really excited to read this book. Okay, so the second book is The Raven Boys, which is book 1 of the Raven Cycle series, also by Maggie Stiefvater. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. So I've heard a lot about this book recently. Every time I go to the bookstores, it's on the shelves where it's like, oh, people really like this book, you should read this book. I've heard a lot about this book and I wanted to get it for a while. And I also got this one when I was at the Vancouver International Writers Festival. So much fun. It's about this girl, and she probably meets, it says in here that she meets a guy, which is pretty typical with most stories. She meets a guy and she's drawn to him, and she can't really understand why she's drawn to him, and apparently she's been warned that she will cause her true love to die, which totally sucks. Whoa. Then she gets caught up with this guy who's on a quest that's with 3 other Raven boys, and so yeah, the story is about that. And sorry that these kind of like synthesis things are horrible. I'm just reading off of the back. I'm reading some facts off of the back of the book, and since I haven't started reading them, I can't really explain it in depth because I don't really know about it. But I've heard a lot about this one, and I've heard this series a lot of people like the series, and apparently people have said it's gonna get really popular really fast. So I am super duper excited to read this one. So next is The Rehearsal by Eleanor Catton. Basically it is set in the aftermath of a sex scandal at an all-girls high school. There was a teacher and he had an affair with one of his students, and then all the teenage girls at the high school realize how, like, are jolted into a new awareness of their potency and power. Although no one knows the truth, the girls have their own ideas about what happened, and when the local theater school decides to turn the scandal into a play, the boundaries between fact and fiction soon break down as dramas both real and imagined begin to unfold. So I'm really excited to read this one because it looks very interesting, and I can't wait to see what happens in this book. So yeah, I'm excited to read this one. I'm excited to read all of them. Next is The Luminaries by Eleanor Catton. And this is the one that won the big prize, whatever that one was. This is a beautiful hardcover, thick book. Beautiful, right? And yeah, my mom and I share these two. We're both gonna read these two. But yeah, this one's autographed too. But basically, The Luminaries, one of the interesting things is that each part of the story, like I think there's 12 parts or something, each part is half the amount of characters or words than the part before, which I thought was really interesting. So I'm just going to read the back because I don't think I can explain this or even try to explain this. On a single day in January 1866, a fortune is uncovered in a dead man's cottage. A rich man vanishes without a trace, and a prostitute wakes up in prison with no memory of how she got there. But nothing is what it seems. Set in the heady days of New Zealand's gold rush, The Luminaries is an engrossing and richly imagined novel that brilliantly weaves together the changing fates and fortunes of an entire community, one where everyone has something to hide. Ooh, creepy. I'm really excited to read this one. I've said I'm really excited to read all of them, but it's so true! And apparently all of the characters are also based on a different sign of the zodiac, which is pretty cool. The next one is The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. Now, I will admit to you right now, I've read this once before, and I borrowed it from my friend, and I was like, oh, I read it, and I didn't really absorb it that much, but I really wanted to read it again because I just remember it was a really good book. It is really well written. It is about this girl named Hazel Grace, and she is in remission. No, she's not. I think she has terminal cancer. Despite, like, she had a tumor shrinking miracle a couple years back, she still has cancer and it's still in her life. And basically she goes to the support group, but she can't really be a normal teenager because she has the oxygen tube in her nose and she still has cancer, right? And then she meets this boy named Gus, and Gus is in remission, I think, from cancer. And they meet and they fall in love and things happen, and it's a really emotional book. And if you read it, it will make you cry. It will make you cry. Actually, his name is Augustus, but everyone called him Gus. Psh, it's all good. But I'm super excited to read this one again because I want to absorb it, and I will read it. I'm going to read this one really slowly. I'm going to read it really slowly. And go and read it because John Green writes beautiful things. So, the next is The Unbecoming of Mara Dyer by Michelle Hodkin. So this one I heard a lot about from Pullin' Banana Books, and she is a YouTuber that I love watching. She's a booktuber that I love watching, and I've heard how she really likes this one, and she kept talking about it, and I'm like, oh, maybe I really want to get this so I can read it and try it out because it sounds really good. You wake up with no memory of the last few days. Your friends were killed in an accident that you miraculously survived. Your family has to move to another state to escape the fallout. You meet a mysterious boy who seems to know more about your past than you do. You start seeing things that can't possibly be there. You are afraid you're losing your mind. Can you keep it together? Mara Dyer is about to find out. But yeah, I thought this seemed really interesting, and it's part of a series, so I can totally get all into it. New series. But yeah, this one looks really, really good, and it looks really interesting, like really intriguing. I'm really interested to find out how she survived the accident that all her friends were killed in. And last but not least, I have Divergent by Veronica Roth. Now, confession time, guys. I got this about a year ago, and I read it. But I thought I'd include it in this video because I'm going to reread it, because, don't kill me, first time I read this book, I did not like it. I did not like it at all. I just couldn't follow it. I couldn't connect with any of the characters, and it bugged me, and I didn't finish it. Or I might have finished it, but I don't even remember how it finishes. So now I decided, since Allegiant just came out, I am going to reread this book because I am trying to convince myself that I was wrong when I said I didn't like it, because that's what all my friends who read this book have been saying. They're all like, Julia, you need to reread that book. You need to reread it right now. You need to just reread it. Julia, just reread it. And I'm like, ah, because they all think I'm totally crazy for not liking it. Decided to include this in the video because I'm going to read it and convince myself to like it so I can get into this series like all my other friends. Even my friends who don't read books a lot are into this series, so I figured I must be missing something. You know, there must be something missing from my mind in this book. But I guess I just gotta get into it a little more. So I'm gonna reread that one, and I have to admit I'm a little bit looking forward to rereading it again. Cause yeah. All 7 of them wonderful newish babies. My lovely ones. And they don't even have a spot on my bookshelf yet. They're just sitting on my bedside. No, Divergent! They're all sitting on my bedside table at this point in time, waiting to be read. That was basically, those are the 7 books that I have acquired recently, and that, well, except for Divergent, but whatever, that I've acquired recently and I want to read as soon as possible. So as you can see, I have a really long reading list, but that does not mean I do not want suggestions for what to read. So if you have any suggestions, leave them down below. If you have anything that you really like about the books that I listed, let me know. I love you all so much, and thank you for watching. Love you. Bye.